Okay, pre-algebra, these examples are from the test review, and 8th grade, I didn't get quite as far with 7th grade as I did with you guys. So your problems that you need are going to start with number 22, and that is on the 6th slide. So after I've done 5 of these pages, so you can kind of scroll ahead a little bit. I don't know what the time will be yet since I just started recording. So you can slide ahead a little bit until you see number 22. Okay, so this is number 12, and we are supposed to be combining our like terms, so simplifying to combine like terms. And so what I'm looking for is variables that are the same. So I have 7x, positive 3x, and negative 3x. So I'm going to say 7x plus 3x is 10x, and then 10x minus 3x is back to 7x. So that combined those two, and then that one. And then if I just put the minus 2y down, I can't do anything else with that. So that is the answer for number 12. Number 13 is our next one. And again, we're just combining like terms. So we're looking for things that are alike, and we have a bunch of x's in this one. 5x minus 2x plus 6x. So 5x minus 2x is 3x. So that's 3x there. And then 3x plus the 6x is 9x. So I've just combined those three. And now the negative 7 and the positive 5 are alike, and negative 7 plus 5 is negative 2, so I can write plus a negative 2, or I could just write that as 9x minus 2, like that. Either one of those is fine. Okay, so that one or that one, those are the same thing. Alright, so the next one that we need to do is number 15, and this is where we're going to use distributive property to simplify. So we're going to multiply what's on the outside times both things on the inside, and 4 times 3b would be 12b. And then 4 times our negative 10 would be negative 40. So it's going to look like that, 12b minus 40. That's it on that one. That's all you can do. And then 17 is also distributive property. So we're going to say 10 times negative 3y, and then 10 times negative 3. 10 times negative 3y would be negative 30y. 10 times negative 3 is negative 30. So we can just write negative 30y minus 30. And that is all we can do. Looking at our next one, number 18 right here. So this is just an equation with variables on both sides. So the first thing we do is draw our line. And now we don't have to combine any like terms, so we just need to get our variables on the same side. So we move the smaller one. The 8w is smaller, so I'm going to minus 8w here. Cancels that out. Put minus 8w under the 9w, and that gives us 1w, which is just the same as w. Now I'm going to bring down my minus 8 and my positive 6. So I just bring down a 6. So my next step is to get the variable by itself. So I'm going to do the opposite of minus 8 and plus 8. Plus 8 over here, and 6 plus 8 is 14. And remember, 1w is just the same thing as w. So that means w equals 14 in this one. Alright, number 19. We have 10m minus 12 equals 6m minus 20, another 4 term. So I'm going to draw my line right here. And the first thing I want to do is get my variables together. So I'm going to move my smaller one. So let's move this 6m. So that cancels that out. I put minus 6m under the 10m. I have 4m. So 4m minus 12 equals negative 20. So the next thing I want to do is get my variable alone. So I'm going to move the 12 over first. I'm going to say plus 12 here. Cancels that out. Plus 12 under my minus 20. Negative 20 plus 12 is negative 8. So don't forget, if your bigger number is negative, then it's going to be negative when you're adding or subtracting. Alright, so 4m equals negative 8. So now I want to get the m alone by dividing both sides by 4. So I'm going to write divided by 4 here, and then divided by 4 here, and that means m equals negative 2, because negative 8 divided by positive 4 is negative 2. So that's it on number 19. Skipping down to 22 is our next one. So here we have a multi-term equation. So the first thing we want to do is look at each side separately and combine some like terms. So I have 12 plus 8, and 12 plus 8 is 20. So over here I'm just combining those together, squishing them together. 20 minus 3g equals, and on this side I have some g's, the same g. 7g plus g, so that's like a 1g right there. So this becomes 8g minus 13. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is, it's just like the ones we've just finished, move the smaller variable. So since negative 3 is smaller than 8, I'm going to move it over by going plus 3g. So I'm going to put plus 3g under my 8g. And 8g plus 3g is 11g. And then minus 13. And then on the side it's 20. Okay. Now I want to get my variable alone, remember, so the next thing I'm going to get rid of is what is on the same side of the variable, and that would be the minus 13. So I'm going to plus 13 underneath, and then plus 13 under the 20, and that gives me 33. So I get 33 equals 11g. And now I want to get rid of what's with the variable, so I'm going to divide by 11, and then divide the 33 by 11. And so 33 divided by 11 is 3, so I end up with 3 equals g. And that is your answer. Alright, so let's look at our next one, number 23. And we have 9y plus 2 minus 5y equals negative 13 plus y plus 6. So again, variables on both sides, so I'm going to combine them separately. So 9y minus 5y, that's 4y, so I have 4y plus 2. So I just squished the 9y and the negative 5y together. And on this side I have two constants, so I'm going to combine those. Negative 13 plus 6, that would be negative 7, because the signs are different, so you subtract, and 13 is bigger than 6, so that's why it's negative. So negative 7 plus y. Now I have a four-term equation again, so I move this smaller variable. The smaller one is the y by itself, so I'm going to write minus y underneath here. And then over here I'm going to write minus y. And since that y is by itself, it's like saying minus 1y. So that means I now have 3y. So 3y plus 2 equals negative 7. Next thing I want to do is move my constant, so I'm going to say minus 2 underneath here, and minus 2 underneath here, bring down my 3y. And since the signs are the same, I have negative 7 and a negative 2, I'm going to add and keep the same sign. That's what a lot of you guys are forgetting, is that and keep the same sign. So it's negative 9, and the last step is to divide both sides by 3. Divide by 3, and that means y equals negative 3, because negative divided by positive is a negative. So that's the final answer on 23. Next is 24, and I have this long equation, and I have parentheses, so I need to do distributive property first. So that means I'm going to distribute my 3 to 2 and to the negative 6x. So the negative 4x I'm just going to bring down right here. So negative 3 times positive 2 is negative 6. I'm going to write minus 6. Now I'm going to go negative 3 again times negative 6x. Negative times a negative is a positive, so that's going to be plus 18x, like that. Now on this side, I'm going to bring down the 14, and I need to distribute my positive 2. So it's going to be 2 times x, and then 2 times negative 4. Whoops. Sorry, accidentally hit the arrow. There we go. So 2 times x is 2x, and then 2 times negative 4 is negative 8, so it should look like that. So once you've done the distributive property, you should be okay, because it's like the ones we just did. So negative 4x plus 18x, combining those together gives me 14x. So I have 14x minus 6 equals, and on this side my like terms are 14 and minus 8, so that would be 6 plus 2x. Now we're going to move the smaller variable, and that would be the 2x. I'm going to say minus 2x, and then minus 2x under my 14x, which will give me 12x. So I have 12x minus 6 equals 6. So my next step is to add my 6 to both sides, and that gives me 12x equals 12. Then if we divide both sides by 12, I end up with x equals 1. So isn't that fun when you do a really complicated problem like that and you end up with an answer like that? So x equals 1 on 24. Last one of the equations is 25. And the first thing we're going to do is distributive property. So I'm going to distribute my 7 to 3b and negative 2. So that gives me 21b minus 14 plus 10 equals, and over here I have a negative, so I'm just distributing my negative sign. And remember, that just means we change the signs of both things inside. So negative 3b, positive 20 is what it becomes. I did write that down right. Yes, I did. And then next we're going to do combine like terms on the left side. And that would be the negative 14 and the positive 10. So my 21b just comes down. Negative 14 plus 10 is negative 4. Because 14 minus 10 is 4, and the 14 was bigger, so it's negative 4. And this side we don't have any like terms, so I'm just going to bring it down. Now I want to move my smaller variable, so I'm going to write plus 3b underneath here, and then plus 3b under my 21b. That gives me 24b minus 4 equals 20. Now I want to move the constant, so I'm going to write plus 4, and I get 24b equals 24. Last step, divide both sides by 24, and again we end up with b equals 1. Alright, so if you have any questions about these equations I just did, just rewind, play again, hit pause, copy it down, make sure you've done everything right. Check your signs if you're not getting the same answer. That's the best way you can do it. Alright, the next thing I have here are some terms, the definitions at the bottom. You don't have to write these out, but I'm just going to talk about some of them and write just a few things because I'm not going to write out the definitions of all of them. So what a term is, when we're looking at a term is, it can be a number, so I'm going to do the abbreviation, a number, a variable, or the product of a number and a variable. Okay, so remember that a term is always separated by plus or minus signs. So, but two things can be multiplied. So like 3x, negative 4y, negative 4 by itself, y by itself, those are all terms. Okay? Like terms are terms that have the same variable. Okay? So there are terms that have the same variable. An expression is a collection of terms, no equal sign. Okay, so it can be numbers, variables, numbers being multiplied by variables, and operations like addition, subtraction. No equal sign. Okay, so that's not supposed to be like a minus sign or anything. An equation is two equivalent expressions, and it has an equal sign. Two equivalent expressions is what we have. Equivalent is the same thing as having an equal sign. Alright, so let's look at the next thing. We have solve, what it means to solve an equation. If you guys don't know this by now, GR, to find the value of the variable. You should all know what solving an equation means. Find the value of the variable. Simplify, when we simplify something, we might be combining like terms, we might be writing it in as few terms as possible. I don't have the test in front of me, so I'm not sure what definition I expected you to have for simplify, but I'll take a look at that tomorrow and I might give you guys a little bit of a hint on that. But simplify is just when we're combining our like terms, writing it with as few terms as possible. Alright, we all know what a constant is. That is a number by itself. Remember, a constant doesn't change. The number 4 is always a number 4. Variable is a letter that stands for a number. Okay, and it could stand for many numbers, right? Alright. So next, last couple ones. Coefficient is the number being multiplied by a variable. Okay, so when we say a coefficient, it's that number in front of the variable. So in negative 2x, the negative 2 is the coefficient. In 3y plus 4, the 3 is the coefficient. So numerical just refers to numbers. I'm not sure what my definition on the test is, but if it's numerical, then we're talking about referring to numbers. As in, the opposite of that would be algebraic, which would be referring to an expression that might have numbers and variables. That's it. Hopefully that is helpful, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the test. Bye.